Today we'll be working again with perimeter, and now you're really going to have a chance to kind of take what you've learned already with 13.1 on what perimeter is, and 13.2 is some of that problem solving, and put it all together to kind of do a fun activity on finding the perimeters of some of our classrooms here at Kennedy. So, quick refresher, remember that perimeter is what we're working on, perimeter and area. This chapter we're focused on perimeter again for today. Perimeter is the distance around a closed figure. So all the way around, you can think if you walked all the way around a shape, or if you put a fence around it, it would be that distance all the way around. So we have our first model where we can add up all of the sides. In this case, our triangle is 4 inches on this side, 6 inches on this side, and 5 inches on this side. If we walked all the way around them and added them all up, we'll get our total area around the shape or around the closed figure, which would be 15 inches. Then we also talked about on Monday, we had our perimeter of a rectangle. We have a formula here because rectangles we know are the same, opposite sides are the same length. So we have our length here is the same and our width here is the same. So we can add them all up with L plus W plus L plus W. Or we had our formula where we can take 2 times L plus 2 times W. Okay, and that would be our rectangle one. And then we also had our perimeter of a square formula where in a square we know that all sides are the same length. So we could take side plus side plus side plus side, or we could simply do 4 times side. Now what we're going to do today is we're really going to take what we know about perimeter and put it to good use to figure out the perimeters of some of our classrooms here at school. So you will be working on a map of Kennedy that is drawn up for you, and then you'll have some questions that go along with it. So what I thought we'd do is we'd work through one as a sample problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look, and this is kind of a smaller version. You will have some more on your map. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our map here and see what the perimeter of one of our computer labs is. So first, you'll notice that we have listed here as computer lab. Okay, and then 500, and that 500 is just our room number. All right, so that's not a number we're going to be using right away. But what we need to figure out is our distance around. So again, I'm going to kind of just trace it here. When we're talking about perimeter, we're talking about this distance all the way around the shape. So if you were to walk all the way around our shape here, which in this case is our computer lab, what would that distance be? All right, so we have a couple ways we can do it. First thing we can do is we can take a look at all of our sides. So right now I'm given 26 feet, 18 feet. Now, I am not given these two sides. Okay, so those are kind of my question marks right now. However, what I do notice is that this seems to be a rectangle. Okay, so based off what I know about rectangles, I can find out my other side. So one thing I know about rectangles is my length here is this going to be the same. Because these are opposite sides, they are going to be the same distance. So when it's 26 feet down here, it will also be 26 feet up here. So that's the first thing I do is I'm going to label it. I'm going to get all of my sides listed. So now that I know that this side is 26 feet, this side will also be 26 feet. The next piece I know about my rectangle is that my width will be the same. Because my width is on opposite sides, this 18 feet will be the same over here. So this will also be 18 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and label that. All right, now I'm starting to see I can solve this now because I have all of my side lengths. I'm given this side length, this side length, this side length, and this side length. And that's all I need. I need all of my side lengths. And in this case, I have 4, so I will only need 4 side lengths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to add them up. And what I'm going to do to see that I've added, I'm going to put a check mark by that side. So the first one I have here is 26. So I'm going to take 26. All right. Then I go around and I have 18, so I'll put my check mark there, 18. I keep going, I have 26. And then I go one more time and I notice that I have 18 again, so plus 18. All right, so now I have my problem here. Okay, so one method I can do is I can add them just as I have them, but I'm going to rewrite them because it makes it a little easier. So I'm going to take 26 plus 18, I'm going to write it vertically, and then I'm going to take 26 plus 18 again. So I kind of have them paired up here, you can see. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 8 plus 6. When I add 8 plus 6, I know that I get 14. So I'll put my 4 down here and my 1 up top. Okay, now that my 1's column is done, I can add my 10's column. So I'm going to take 2 plus 1, which is 3, plus 1, which should be 4. All right, And I can do the same thing over here. You'll notice it is the same problem. So if I go through it quickly, it'll be 6 plus 8 is 14. Carry my 1. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. So now I'm left with 44 and 44, and I know that I need to bring those back and add those together. So I'll take 44 plus 44. 4 plus 4 is 8, and again, 4 plus 4 is 8. So my total distance around now would be 88, and then my unit would be feet. Okay, so that would be one way to solve my perimeter. My other way that I can solve my perimeter, let me grab another color here. My other way would be to use my formula. So what I know about my rectangles is my formula is going to be 2 times my length plus 2 times my width. All right, and those are going to be in parentheses because I do that multiplication first. So that's just a good way to remember. That's going to equal my perimeter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug in those numbers that I know to be my length and my width. So my new problem is going to be 2 times, and my length is going to be this 26, plus 2 times my width, which I know to be 18. And now this will equal my perimeter. All right, so this is where I can show off my multiplication skills that I just learned in Chapter 4. So I'm going to draw this over here. I'm going to take 26 times 2. All right, I like to use the standard form, so I know that 2 times 6 is 12. My 2 goes down here. My 1 goes up here. And now I take 2 times 2, which is 4, and then I add my 10 to it, so I get 50. So I get 52. And then over here, I'm going to take 2 times 18, so I'll take 18 multiplied by 2. 2 times 8 is 16, so I take a 6 down there. My 10 goes up top above the 10. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So now I'm left with 52 and 36, and I know I still have to add them. So I'm going to take 52 plus 36. When I write that out, my 52 plus my 36, if I write it in this form, it tends to be a little easier to solve because it helps me line it up. 2 plus 6 is 8, and 5 plus 3 is 8. So I'd end up with 88, and then my unit stays the same, that feet. All right? So both ways you'll see we got the same answer. So whichever way works better for you, whichever way you're more comfortable with. If the formula works really well for you, use the formula. Remember to check if it's a rectangle or a square because we have formulas for both, as you remember. If the other way of adding up all of our sides works for you, that is a fantastic way to solve them as well. Okay, so your job now is to solve the distance around some classrooms. So you'll have Miss Ide's classroom, myself, Mr. Pillsbury's classroom, Miss Heinen's classroom, and Miss Travis's classroom. Then you will also have the gym to solve. So go in, find the area for all of those side lengths, and then answer all of the questions because there's a couple more that help us more with our 13.2, some of that problem solving for these questions as well. There's also a challenge section on this where you're working a little bit with some more challenging stuff that I encourage all of you to give a try. So take your time. If you need to rewatch this video for more assistance, go ahead, or a refresher. If not, get started on your work. Make sure to complete all parts. And if you have any questions that come up while you're working, be sure to join your teacher's office hours.